Hi, I'm Eric Mead, Executive Chef of Mount Carmel East Hospital, and today I am going to be preparing for you and showing you how to make a Southwest tofu scramble. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take a large saute pan, put it over medium heat, and we'll let that come up to temp. Then what I want to do, I want to take a medium-sized bowl, and I have some dry spices here. We're going to make a little sauce that's going to coat our tofu mixture a little later, but I want to get that out the way now. So in this little dish right here, I have some cumin, some turmeric, some garlic powder, some chili powder, and a little bit of kosher salt. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those in my bowl. And only thing I need to make this sauce is a little bit of water. So I just want to add enough water to loosen it up, you know, where it's not clumpy and where it will mix really well with our tofu mixture later, okay? So just a few teaspoons of water. You want this to be pourable, so you just add a little bit at a time till it's ready to go. So I think that's just about what I'm looking for right there. I can always add a little bit more water if it's too thick. So we have that out the way. Now what we want to do, we want to prepare our vegetables for this. So we have a red bell pepper, and then I have a quarter of a large onion, or you can use a half of a medium onion, so on and so forth. We want to do a small dice. So to dice my pepper, I'm going to lay it on its side. Then I'm going to cut the top, cut through the stem, get rid of that green part. Cut the bottom where it stands up flat. So now I can run my knife through one side, and then I like to lay it on its side, the pepper on its side, and I like to run my knife just gently enough, but with enough force to cut through the white ribs, okay? And that will give me a nice surface, you know, to start our cuts with. So what we're going to do, we're going to make a small dice. So I'll take this, lay it long ways, and then we'll just cut some julienne strips. Julienne is just like a thin strip. Okay. We'll get our strips, turn them on its side, and then just nice and easy, just cut some small dice. Take your time. Knife skills, you know, don't come naturally to everyone. So, you know, take your time. Make sure you don't, you know, cut yourself. Last thing you want is to be injured. But always remember, a sharp knife is your most important tool in the kitchen. Dull knife, you have a much greater chance of cutting yourself due to knife slippage. Okay, so we're going to take our bottom and our top, and we're going to do the same thing. Okay. Few more little stragglers here. We're using red today just for the color, but you know, feel free to use green, orange, whatever pepper you have. This recipe, since it is Southwest, you can add jalapeno peppers. I would just probably omit the seeds since that's where most of the heat is. But you know, anything that you find in Southwestern cooking, you can pretty much add to this dish. Okay, so now we'll take our quarter onion here and go ahead and cut the top. I'll peel, we'll leave our stem on. And we're going to small dice this as well. So I'm just going to make little cuts, little slices, thin slices, almost all the way through, but I still want our onion to stay together, so I'm not going to cut all the way through. Okay, now I'll turn that to the side, and this will give us perfect dices. I'll just hold like so, let my knife do the work. And you see right there, we have nice, beautiful diced onion. All right. Have any stragglers, go ahead and cut those up as well. Okay, now we're ready to dice. Our pan is nice and hot, so this will not take long. We'll go ahead and add a couple tablespoons of olive oil. And we will get our onions and our peppers in there. All right, I'm going to adjust my heat up just a little bit. Okay, so you want to saute these for about, let's say 2 to 4 minutes, just depending on how hot your pan is. Okay, so while this is cooking, we're just going to season with a pinch of salt and pepper, just enough to taste. Okay, and we're just, like I said, we're just looking to saute this until it's softened. And I think we are about there. We can just about add our black beans. So we have about a half a cup of drained black beans here. Go ahead and add that in. Let that cook for a few more minutes, and this will give us time to break up our tofu. So we have some firm tofu here. The key with tofu when you're cooking with it, tofu, they pack it in water, so it holds a lot of water in it. You really have to drain it very well to make sure that it doesn't it can flood out your meal that you're using it with and give you a really undesired effect. So what you want to do, you want to take your tofu, you want to drain it, then you want to wrap it either in paper towels or a clean kitchen towel. You want to wrap it really good, really tight, and then you want to set something heavy like, it could be a book or preferably like a cast iron skillet. Set it on top so it can push out as much moisture as possible for about 15 minutes. And we'll still have a little bit of moisture to it. It doesn't dry out completely, but it's much more workable. So what we're going to do, we have about 8 ounces of tofu here, and you can use a fork, but I'm just going to use my hands right now. We just want to break this up into small bite-sized pieces so it crumbles really nicely. And just get in there, just break it up. Another thing you can do with this, you can add any kind of green leafy veg that you want. Kale goes really good with this, spinach, things like that. This is an easy recipe to play around with. You can also take this and put it into a flour tortilla, make a burrito. Works great as well. Okay, so we have our crumbled up tofu here. So what we want to do, we want to push our vegetable mixture to one side. Okay. We want to put our tofu, just so we can cook it thoroughly, we want to put our tofu on the other side. And we're just going to cook this for about 2 minutes. Let that tofu toast up just a little bit. We'll lightly season our tofu with a little salt and pepper. Okay, it's been about 2 minutes. Our tofu's cooking up nicely, so we're going to go ahead and just incorporate everything together. Get that all mixed in. And now, you remember in the beginning when we made that simple sauce with our dry spices and water? We're going to go ahead and add that right into our mix. Okay. We can turn our heat off. Mix this up. Oh, that smells great. Okay. Let's go ahead and plate this up. Okay, since this is a Southwestern dish, we throw a little bit of cilantro on there. So I'll just take a little bit, run my knife through it a few times, and we are good to go. Okay, and there you have it. Smells delicious, looks delicious, tastes delicious. This is our Southwest Tofu Scramble. Enjoy.
Hi, my name is Amy Shea and I'm nutrition faculty with Mount Carmel College of Nursing. In this video, we're going to discuss the Southwest Tofu Scramble prepared by Chef Eric. This is a super delicious option that could be a really fun breakfast. You might notice if you make this recipe that it kind of a little bit resembles scrambled eggs. So that's kind of what we're going for here. I love this recipe. I think it's absolutely delicious. But I wanted to discuss some of the benefits of tofu. So you may or may not use tofu very often. I would encourage you to give it a try. You can see on the slide the nutrition facts from tofu. So pretty reasonable amount of calories. It's got some good healthy fats from the polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats. No cholesterol, very little sodium. It's really whatever we add to it that adds sodium. A little bit of fiber and then some good protein. You can also see some of the minerals, calcium, iron, and potassium are also present in tofu. So really great option. And we think of tofu as a really heart-healthy, plant-based protein. And one of the other things about this recipe that I love is it also includes black beans. So you're getting two sources of plant protein. One little note about the black beans in this recipe, if you're using canned black beans, as always, remember to rinse them until the water runs clear to help decrease some of that sodium coming from the canned beans. Alternatively, you could make your own beans from dry beans and boil them in the normal kind of process for cooking beans, and then you can freeze those beans in small batches to throw into this recipe whenever you're ready to make it. But I love using tofu as a great plant-based protein. One thing that's unique about tofu as well is it's what we call a complete protein. And what that means is it provides all of the 9 essential amino acids. Most of our plant proteins don't provide all 9, so this is a really great option when it comes to plant-based protein. Another thing with this recipe, you can see there's additional veggies that are added that give it more fiber and lots of other vitamins and minerals. Keep in mind, you can add whatever you like, right? So try different mixtures, follow our recipe, and then try some other options for vegetable combinations. But I hope you will love this absolutely delicious Southwest Tofu Scramble.